What are you saying? 85% of
Yes.
inheritance tax.
At that point in time, if anybody inherited 100 rupees, they literally had to pay 85 rupees to the government. No matter how old documents you have, they need to be preserved and kept intact.
Hello, Shraddha. Thank you for joining us. Inheritance is a topic which is not very frequently spoken of. So I'm so glad that you've made the time to come here and join us in this conversation.
So, thank you so much for having me, Drashti. I think inheritance is such a unique topic which is not so talked about. It is not an easy dinner table conversation that people have. Having said that, I think people are now a little more receptive to planning about it, because it is something which is not just rainy day planning, but it is your entire legacy that you leave behind for your family. Inheritances are majorly received in many more ways. It is not just maybe a gift or something. So
Okay.
there are three sorts of inheritances that people might experience in their lifetime. One being gift, that is done during the lifetime of an individual. B is testamentary disposition, which is commonly known inheritance by a will.
Okay.
And third being not a very talked about topic, but still very important, inheritance through a private trust. Now let's dive one by one into each of these categories. So I think, Drashti, post COVID, there is so much volatility when it comes to human life, that inheritance and talking about estate planning has become even more vital right now, as you rightly mentioned. Unfortunately, not a lot of people talk about it because it is a very overwhelming topic even now. Like, despite us having so much awareness about it, to come to think of it, I do empathize with people where they feel that only if I'm old or something, I will bring on this topic with the family, and till then it's a very sensitive topic that I may beat around the bush. So when someone inherits something through a will, there is no taxation, like we discussed, unless there is a sale or there is any sort of income that one earns from that. Now getting into the private trust concept, it's a very interesting concept. So it is an advanced tool in estate planning which has a lot of benefits. It has more benefits than cons. Okay, so will, no matter how airtight you make it, is going to be susceptible to challenges. No matter how, even if you keep it registered, even if you ensure that everything is covered, everything is airtight, it still is susceptible to challenges.
Why is that so? Sorry, we can go back to that question again.
Yeah,
But why do you say that? Why do you say this?
because a legal heirs are not, there is no embargo on legal heirs from contesting any portion of whatever is written in the will. They are still entitled. So there are different succession acts that is applicable to individuals depending on the religion that they follow. Just for example purposes, Hindu Succession Act. So for a married Hindu male, um, there are a set of predetermined legal heirs who are defined for him. So for him, it would be his mother, his spouse, his children.
Right.
Now, if he has, for example, if he has a sister, that sister comes as a secondary legal heir, and so does the father. So only
The father comes as a
yes,
secondary legal
yes,
heir.
yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
So very interesting.
Yeah.
And for women, they don't even come in the first level of beneficiaries, the first level of legal heirs.
As in, if it's a woman.
If it's a married woman,
Ah.
her legal heirs are only her husband and children. Her parents are not automatically included.
Really?
So yeah. So if someone wants to surpass this predetermined beneficiaries, people generally go for wills, right, where they can deviate from this entire disposition and make choices about who they want to benefit from their estate. Coming back to your question, why would someone then,
Question the
contest?
will. Yeah,
Correct.
contest.
Contest the will. Now, suppose I have not mentioned, for example, my sister. If she's doing very well in her life, I just want that my spouse and my children should benefit from my estate. My sister, out of spite, she comes and she contests the will, right? It goes into a prolonged battle, right? Now, because she is also a determined legal heir of mine, there are so many other legal heirs, right, that my distant family members would be.
Correct.
So then they automatically have the right to contest in the will. So no matter how airtight I make my will, it is always going to be susceptible to challenges. Having said that, there are a lot of clients who feel that, we are sorted as a family. We do not envisage any legal battles coming my way. In that case, a will should suffice for them. But if you have blended families, if you have older dependents, if you have um, dependents who have special needs, that is where you go for an advanced model like a private trust. So until now, this model was known for HNIs and ultra HNIs, right? But now we are trying to make it more cost effective, more feasible for even the middle net worth clients, because we feel that people who are middle net worth now will tomorrow become HNIs and ultra HNIs.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
So people who the branch of people who need this the most are the middle net worth clients. So yes, just to briefly tell you about private trusts, there is something, the person who creates it is called as the settler of the trust. Now, because the private trust cannot function by itself, it has to have a set of trustees. Those trustees are going to hold the assets for the people who are going to be benefiting from the trust.
Okay.
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 Now, there are two types of private trust. One being a revocable trust, another is an irrevocable trust. I'll tell you briefly about both so that
Sure.
taxation is more easy. Revocable trust is where law gives you absolute flexibility of functioning the trust the way you want it. Today you make the trust, today you want to add beneficiaries to the trust, you want to benefit from the trust, you want to control the trust, you can do everything possible under the sun with the trust. The downside of that is whatever income is generated from the trust will be clubbed in your hands, which means that the income tax slab that you fall under, the assets of the trust will be clubbed in your hands as per that income tax slab.
Okay.
So if you fall under, the lower the slab, the better for the individual. Now coming to irrevocable trust, it is an absolute opposite of that. Irrevocable trust is where a person creates it, but in order to get insulations and to get the benefits that actually private trusts offer, the person has to isolate himself from benefiting, controlling the trust, so he cannot control or benefit from the trust during his lifetime.
What? So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue. I think I'll ask my question later.
Sure. So what happens is, when he isolates himself, the law permits that flexibility, that because you are sacrificing yourself from benefiting and controlling the assets you own, I'm giving you that benefit that you will have estate duty protections. You will have all sorts of protections if you have any marital disputes, if you have any creditor liabilities, or anything under the sun. Tomorrow, if there is any change in law, irrevocable trusts are the ones that will get the maximum benefit.
So, are you saying that it in a way protects you in times of need?
Yes.
Maybe not otherwise.
It's a gray area because both the trusts are for rainy day planning. The features of that differ definitely, but I feel that when it comes to revocable trusts, the taxation being the most important aspect of it, if somebody falls under the highest tax slab, we would not recommend that person creating a revocable trust.
Got it.
Vis-a-vis, Now, there are other subsections under an irrevocable trust.
Oh my God, this is a masterclass in inheritance and will and estate planning.
Yeah. So it's not as simple. It's very interesting when you deep dive into these concepts. It is not very vanilla. It is not very plain. It has to be customized and, very well thought of for every individual, right? Which is why it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of efforts, not just for the advisor, but for the families, because for them it is a very new concept, right? So they need to be accustomed, they need to familiarize themselves with not just the functioning of the trust, but they also need to know how will they benefit. At the end of it, everyone wants tax benefits, right? So you need to understand how having a structure like a private trust is going to save taxes, or rather help you plan your taxes more efficiently.
Better, correct.